Welcome, gas rig workers, travelers, and giant seaweed monsters, to this, the 258th episode of an Unearthly Podcast, streaming live on the 23rd of May, 2018, and featuring Fury from the Deep. Written by Victor Pemberton and starring Patrick Troughton as the Doctor, Fraser Hines as Jamie McCrimmon, and Deborah Watling as Victoria Waterfield. My name is Randy Ronson McCulloch, your host for this season. And with me on the panel tonight is Mad Matt Winchell.
I'm drinking Jolly Good Fruit Punch.
Tim the Enchanter Sheridan.
And then John was a zombie.
And Aaron Romeo Moon Burke.
Hello.
As a reminder from last week, Bill, Man in Black Sylvia, is away in Spain and thus cannot join us this evening.
Ask him how the rain is.
So, how's your week been, everybody?
Chaotic.
Mine has been pretty good. I had my birthday last Sunday.
Oh,
yeah,
happy birthday.
Yeah, so I celebrated by going to see two movies on the weekend, Avengers and Deadpool 2.
Talk about them during Geek Talk.
Yep.
And remember, no spoilers or we kill you.
At least not until we've seen it.
Well, no, even then
won't
we don't
actually
want to...
kill you.
Yeah,
Even though we still don't want the audience to fillet us.
yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we were going to go see at least one of them on Tuesday, but by the time we got everything in order to purchase the tickets, they were sold out.
Jesus, still?
Dang.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was like...
And on Tuesday?
Yeah, it was like, well, Tuesday is the $5 day at Point.
Oh, right.
So we're sitting here. It's like 1:30 in the afternoon, I think. I just ran to the bank, threw some money in so I could buy the tickets. Look up. There were no two seats together in that theater. And it's like, okay, so no Avengers. How about Deadpool 2? Even less seats. And, of course, the big fun is going to come when we try this next week, because next week, Solo, a Star Wars story, also hits theaters. So you'll have three big name AAA movies all running at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, you guys hear that Comcast has announced that they are intending to try to outbid Disney on the Fox properties?
Yes, apparently so.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen that there's more about them. Yes, they're planning to double down.
Mm-hmm.
Dang.
So that's going to be an all-out bidding war between Disney and Comcast. Two companies in the universe that can throw all the money in the world at something, and they're trying to outdo each other.
And
You
then
know who
suddenly walks in Nintendo and says, "Hold my beer."
No, Nintendo isn't going to freaking care. The thing is, you know who the winner is in this whole situation, don't you?
Supposedly Comcast has a little bit more money, or at least more people behind it.
That's not what I mean by the winner. The winner is Fox. And by Fox, I mean Rupert Murdoch.
Yeah, he gets to walk away with a huge bundle of cash and gets to keep his news organization running for decades to come.
Yep, unfortunately. All right, so on tonight's show, we've got news and birthdays. Geek Talk, thanks to Tim. I have no rant of the week, no review of Shame this evening, no YouTube commentary, and then Tim has decided to do the summary this evening.
Yay.
And then our episode review, our final thoughts, and our ratings. So we start off the news tonight with birthdays, of which there is only one, and it's a posthumous.
Nope.
We are commemorate the birthday of Michael Wisher, the man who played Davros in Genesis of the Daleks, 1975. He would have been 83, but he died in 1995 at 60.
Ouch.
Yep. The man in the bath chair, as he's been known. That is our only birthday. It was a really birthday light week. I couldn't even find secondary birthdays that would even possibly remotely fit the bill. That's how bad it was. All right. And we go from birthdays to death days, and we've got a bit of a sad one. Aaron?
Yep. Graham Strong, the Doctor Who mega fan who we reported earlier this month donated his crystal clear audio recordings, has died at the age of 69. Strong, who began recording Doctor Who at the age of 14, at least as early as the Keys of Marinus, that's Serial 5. In the middle of the Daleks' Master Plan, Serial 21, he wired his television's audio output directly to his tape recorder. As a result, his records wound up being better in the 1990s than the BBC's deteriorating
That's supposed to be
ones.
recordings. That's my bad.
Mm-hmm. Many of the first and second Doctor's DVD releases now use Strong's audio instead of the original, and Strong's audio is used for the animated reconstruction of Power of the Daleks. Strong died on May 16th after a long battle with cancer.
So that's why he donated them to the BBC archives, probably so his family wouldn't do something like try to auction it off or something.
Yeah.
Instead, he donated them to the people that would get the most good out of them.
Mm-hmm.
Because I mean, this guy, he missed one episode of the Daleks Master Plan, and he recorded over the Celestial Toymaker because he didn't like it. He's regretted that since. He wished he'd kept the audio recordings anyway, because that would have been crystal clear audio for at least that serial. And he's kept these things in pristine condition since the 1960s. That's 50 years he's kept these audio recordings in perfect mint condition. And now he's given them to the BBC to be digitally transcribed and used in future recordings. And when the BBC said, hey, look, our audio for this is crap, do you got better? He gave it to them.
Pretty much.
So yeah, this I think is the first person that honestly qualifies as a mega fan. At least
he's pretty much saving the first and second Doctor.
Mm-hmm. All right. That is the only bit of lost story we have. We will move to episode news, and Tim.
Yep, there's news in Latin America. Latin America will get Series 11 on demand via Crackle. Doctor Who fans in South and Central America, you have good news. Sony Entertainment secured a deal with the BBC to release Series 11 over its on-demand service Crackle. Viewers will be able to stream the show shortly following its airing on BBC One in England, starting in October.
That's assuming October. Now, I want to aside on this and mention how much I am not fond of Cultbox at this point, who was where I originally got this news. Because Cultbox news block on this was further proof that the Doctor Who will be coming out in October. And
no, it's not proof.
no, it's not. I mean, the whole article is on how Latin America will get it, and there's a blurb in there starting in October, which is not a direct quote by anybody. It's just their assumption, probably based on previous news articles. So,
for all we know, we could end up getting it half a month sooner.
Half a month sooner or half a month later. We don't know. All we know is that there's 10 episodes planned, so they have a little more wiggle room than they used to, because they used to have to try to fit 13 episodes in there. Now they can run it right up to December, right up to the Christmas special if they wanted.
Mm-hmm.
Which is almost what they did last season, by the way. If you recall, there was only like a 2-week gap between the end of season 10 and the Christmas special. So, or was that the season before? One of those, there was only like a 2-week gap. So that could be their plan. We don't know. Anyway, moving on to auction news. Another rare piece of Doctor Who memorabilia has hit the auctioneers. The actual 1965 TARDIS prop used in Doctor Who and the Daleks is up for bidding from a Surrey-based Eubanks Auctions starting on May 31st. This is the actual full-size prop, not a model. Bidding starts at £4,000 and can be done online from www.theauctionroom.com. Also up for bid in this set of over 350 pieces of TV and movie memorabilia is an Ewok mask made with actual production materials from Return of the Jedi and a pair of limited edition size 8 Nike Air Mag trainers that are replicas to the one worn by Michael J. Fox in Back to the Future Part 2.
Super.
And remember, that's all at theauctionroom.com. Bidding starts May 31st. Bring your checkbooks.
Okay.
I'm not sure if
And-
that was the right TARDIS. Did they actually show the TARDIS that was supposed to be Cushing's?
All I know is that it said Cushing's TARDIS. The picture that they use in there, I'm pretty sure was from Doctor Who and the Daleks, so that should be Cushing's TARDIS.
The picture was from Doctor Who and the Daleks, but the TARDIS close-up that they had after that was definitely not it.
It might. Yeah, you're right. I have no idea where they got that particular picture.
Yeah, that makes you raise an eyebrow, especially since I think, yeah, it's the same, like, dull background for the next Ewok mask.
Yeah, that's true.
I have questions. Don't get me wrong, it could be an actual Doctor Who TV show TARDIS, but that makes me think it's not actually Peter Cushing's if that's supposed to be the actual TARDIS.
Yeah, because if you look at the top, and by the way, it looks like the picture up at the top is actually reversed. Because oh yeah, it is. Look at the picture at the top and tell me what's wrong with this picture.
Can't tell, it's not very clear. It's too small.
Oh,
is the top? Oh yeah, it is reversed. Okay, so maybe like the one sign fell off then.
Do you guys have an actual link to this? Because I'm clicking on theauctionroom.com and it's only taking me to the main site.
Oh no, we're looking at Cult Box.
Oh, Cult Box. Okay.
We're looking at the link from Cultbox, and why did this suddenly just pop up?
I don't even see the link from Cult Box.
It's in the title.
It is?
Yes.
Usually it pops up like a link when I put my cursor over the top of it.
But
But okay, yeah, that's really weird that they reversed the movie shot for some reason.
that happens sometimes, and I don't know why. But yeah, that's them appearing on Scarrow in that photo.
So it's
And-
possible that could be it. It's just that they lost the star on the one door.
No, there's a few other things that are different too.
Actually,
like
yeah,
for
the top is weird.
Yeah, the top is weird. The top is weird. It's in black, and there's no, as far as I can tell, no light on the top. Unless, of course, the prop is in pieces and they haven't actually put the top on it.
That's a possibility, I suppose.
It does look really rickety.
Yeah, it looks
Well-
really odd. Well, then again, it's how old? In 60s?
Yeah, it's
The fact that it's
50
even one
some years.
piece.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe the top is just completely missing. Who knows?
I don't know.
We'd have to see the actual auction to know. But anyway,
I think somebody might have repainted the police box part of it. I don't know. I'm a little
some
leery
of
on it.
Yeah, it's a little odd.
All right, moving to our next piece of news, which comes from media releases and streaming. Aaron.
Okay. Classic Doctor Who is coming to Twitch. Twitch and the BBC have joined forces to bring Classic Who here to Twitch starting May 29th. Over 500 episodes will air Monday to Friday at 2 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. Furthermore, to celebrate this, there's a sweepstakes for the first 7 weeks with a grand prize at the end of a trip for the winner +1 to the London Comic Con in fall 2018. To prepare for the BBC and Twitch has asked the boys over at Yogscast to make a series of videos introducing the various doctors and eras of the show. Well, they really didn't do their research on Yogscast, did they? And some of the controversies involved with those people.
Yeah, well, they also are still the most popular.
British group, yeah, on Twitch.
Yeah, that's why
That-
they chose them.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much. It's pretty much like a Channel Awesome thing when it comes to that. All of the good things they do has pretty much hog-piled over anything shady that has gone on in the background, even though some of the stuff they've done is really shady.
Yeah, I don't know if I care to like really support them just because of that. I mean,
I actually had to double check to make sure it was the same guys. It is, but
mhm.
anyway, our last piece of news comes out of Big Finish, and that's Tim.
Big Finish. Out yesterday is Torchwood, We Always Get Out Alive by Guy Adams, the next installment in the Torchwood monthly series, featuring Eve Miles as Gwen Cooper and Kai Owen as Rhys Williams. In it, Gwen and Rhys are fleeing an apocalyptic disaster, trying to get home, but something is with them in the car. Something dangerous, something deadly. Torchwood, We Always Get Out Alive is available from the Big Finish website for £7.99 download, £9.99 CD, or as part of the bundle of episodes 19 to 24 for £55 CD, £45 download.
Yeah, by the way, Tim, it's Rhys.
Rhys, I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, you did the same mistake I did when I first saw the name. Because, as an aside, I first saw the name back in Phantasy Star 3 back in the 90s, and I called it Rhys for ages. And then we got Torchwood, and he says Rhys. I'm like, really? I thought Rhys was Reese. Yeah.
Mm.
Oh, well.
Oh, well.
Anyway, our other piece of Big Finish news.
Available for pre-order is Doctor Who, The Companion Chronicles, Second Doctor, Volume 2, featuring the voices of Fraser Hines, Wendy Padbury, Anarchy Wells, Daphne Ashbrook, and Louise Jameson. Episodes include The Curator's Egg by Julian Richards, Dumb Waiter by Rob Nisbet, The Iron Maid by John Pritchard, and The Tactics of Defeat by Tony Jones. Doctor Who, The Companion Chronicles, Second Doctor, Volume 2 is available for pre-order for £15 download, £20 CD. And anyone who pre-orders has a chance to win a copy of the box set artwork signed by Wendy Padbury, director Lissa Bowerman, producer Ian Atkins, actor Joe Woodcock, and writer John Pritchard.
Hey, artwork.
Yep.
Artwork.
And that's it for our news this evening. Done once again.
Done in half an hour.
Done
Not
in
even.
like 15 minutes, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And so we're going to move on to our Geek Talk section because
Yep.
we do have a couple of movies seen by Tim.
All right, Tim, which one first?
Oh, okay. So...
Hit Avengers first because it's the oldest one.
All right. So, Avengers. I liked it overall. I didn't like it as much as some of the other Marvel movies I've seen. I thought it was a bit involved, but it was they did a pretty good job of balancing all the characters. And there were only several times when I said to myself, oh, I must have missed that movie, what they're referencing.
Yeah, I've heard there's a lot of basically throwback references to the rest of the MCU in it. That if you've missed a movie, they'll make a reference that you'll like, wait, what?
A couple of them, yeah.
I have not missed an MCU movie, so...
Pretty much the only one I missed before this was Ant-Man and Black Panther, and I could get most of it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I actually was debating whether or not I should hold off seeing Avengers and watching Black Panther first, but I decided,
okay. Anything in particular that was good about it? And I mean, without going into details, acting, direction, anything like that? Or is it
I
pretty
think
much...
they did a really good job of choosing what superheroes should meet up with who.
Okay.
Who, like the best combinations possible. So you have like this guy meeting up with this guy while this guy meets up with this guy. I'm not going to spoil anyone.
Yeah.
To see.
Well, again, I mean, the thing is, the secret here is that these are actually wrote by comic book guys, so they kind of know this stuff instinctively because it's their job.
Yeah. So they know like which characters would automatically have the best chemistry.
Mm-hmm.
And how to do that chemistry.
Yep. It's one of the things it's one of the reasons the MCU has been so unbelievably successful is they know who to give it to and then who to take it to polish it, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, these guys know, oh yeah, you want this team up. Yeah, that'll be awesome.
Also,
work
which
great
pair of
together.
directors to give it to, too, lately.
Yep. Yeah,
because
that too.
because the way I hear they're doing it lately, for the most part, is they have one director who does all like the dialogue and character bits, and then you have one director who will heavily focus on all the action parts.
Yeah. If directors can tag team like that, that's fine.
Mm-hmm.
So, at the end, see it, not see it. Well, I mean, it's an MCU movie, so if you're an MCU fan, you have to see it.
Yep, and see it. Like the only thing that had kind of issue was that was the ending. This is so much setting up for a sequel. It's not funny.
Well, that's because the sequel's already been confirmed. They're not fishing for it. They know it's happening.
They're just in post production, and while that's in deep post production right now, they're getting the other movies that are going to build up to that point.
In fact, I think it might be a trilogy. So
it just like
Not
even
that I'm aware of.
so, the story doesn't really feel like it has a resolution or even like a jumping off point. It just sort of stops.
So it's one of those that when both of them are out, you're going to want to watch them pretty much back to back.
Just about, probably.
Yeah.
Like freaking like when they diced up the Harry Potter movie, their 7th Harry Potter movie into 2 movies. It's like, yeah, we'll just end it here. Yep. All right. So what about Deadpool?
Deadpool 2.
Yeah.
That was a hoot and a half.
Okay. So rumors have been saying from people that have seen it is that it's better than the first movie. Did you see the?
I liked the first movie better, I think.
Okay, you liked the first movie better.
Yeah.
Is it at least close?
It was close. I think the problem with the second movie was just that it didn't really bring anything new or innovative to the table. It just carried is like the first movie set the formula, and the second movie followed the formula.
Well, I thought this movie was supposed to be the setup for X-Force, so at least that's what I heard, because they're not making a Deadpool 3. They're making X-Force instead. At least that's what word on the street is currently.
That is if they continue Fox's plans in the next year or so.
Oh, yeah. And, of course, this is assuming Disney doesn't get it, in which case they'll be making these movies till the end of time. Just like, Disney will be making Star Wars movies until the end of time now. Weird Al Yankovic predicted it in the 80s.
Yeah. The long-term contract I had to sign means I'll be making these movies till the end of time with my Yoda.
Mm-hmm. Thing is, it wasn't Fox that did it. It was Disney that said, oh, yeah, we're going to milk this thing for all it's worth.
Oh, we actually got somebody in the chat. Broadcast, have you seen the new Doctor Who movie? Which movie is that?
Yeah, you got to narrow it down, buddy. You got to narrow it down.
Yeah, is it like the last thing that was in theaters or something?
Yeah, because the last...
Wait. I think they might be trolling.
Might be.
Yeah, I'm looking further. This seems to be trolling.
Yeah, I figured as much. Anyway. So, you saw that. Would you recommend people go to see Deadpool 2, or?
Yes, I would recommend seeing Deadpool 2.
Okay.
It's very fun.
All right. So that's basically 2 thumbs up.
Yep.
Kind of as I figured, but, I had these movies on my to-see list like when they were announced.
Mm-hmm.
So, we'll see how that comes out. All right. Honestly, I think that's it for our Geek Talk section.
Yep.
Boom.
And
Close.
And let's go ahead and then actually get into the episode summary.
Okay.
Tim, that's you.
Whenever you're ready, Tim. Just go.
Okay, so the TARDIS lands in the middle of water, and Jamie, the Doctor, and Victoria all go out on a boat, and they meet on the beach, and they wander around saying, "Where are we? I don't know. Must be England. Why? Because the weather sucks." Sucks. Oh, look, foam. Let's have a foam fight. Foam fight. Yay, yay, yay. Doctor, look, there's a pipe. Pipe. Oh, let's listen to the pipe with the stethoscope. Hey, Doctor, what's that? Why, it's my sonic screwdriver. I'm sure I'll get much use of this. This. Do-do-do-do-do. Hey, Doctor, there's something in the pipe. Yes, it's pulsating. It's beeping. Bum, 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 bum. Doctor, we're being shot. Blackout. Blackout. Come to. Hey, where are you? I'm Robson, and you guys are sabotaging the pipeline. It's like, no, we're not. We were just looking at it. Where did you come from? You're spies. You're saboteurs. I don't know, sir. Maybe we should go down see and check the pipe. That's stupid. And then Dr. Harris says, will you look at this report, sir? No, I don't want to look at this report, because I know everything. Like, oh, please look at the report. Hey, the report's gone, because a mysterious gloved hand had taken the report out of my briefcase. I know, I'll send my wife to fetch the report. Okay, dear, I will fetch your report for you. La 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 la.
Do that a little harder, Tim, and you could be Julia Childs.
I got stung by seaweed. Oh no, I'm sick. And meanwhile, there's still foam in the pipes. It's everywhere. And Victoria's like, oh, everywhere we go, there's death and despair and destruction, and I can't take it anymore. The lights are flashing and blinking, and they're flashing and blinking. And I'm going cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. Puffs. I tell you, it's the seaweed. The seaweed is coming to life and it's going to attack us. It's going to take over the world, like that episode, like the part in the movie Creep Show with Stephen King in it. What should we do? Luckily, Victoria discovered the way to stop the seaweed. This high-pitched screaming. Of course, everyone knows that seaweed is deadly allergic to high-pitched screaming. Yay! We defeated the seaweed! What, Victoria? What's wrong? I don't want to go with you guys anymore. You guys, I don't like you anymore. Oh, well, I like these guys better. So, see ya. Wouldn't want to be ya. Yeah. Doctor, I'm sad. I know, Jamie. I'm sad too. But, oh well. Zoom! The end.
What an eccentric performance.
Very interesting. But stupid.
I was waiting for that.
Total episode, the total time 3 minutes 45 seconds.
Okay.
For a 6-parter, that's not half bad.
Yeah.
Very interesting. All right, so now we go for what we liked about the episode overall. And Aaron, you were up first.
Of course.
Of course.
Come on, bring up my notes, Bone.
No.
Because I have many, many notes on this one. I actually really like this one. Alright, so...
Apparently more than me, but I had one particular reason that would only apply to me, and I'll address it later.
I think I just liked the overall tension that came with it. I felt that they brought kind of they were able to kind of bring about like the mystery, the disappearances of loved ones, the menace of the minions, Mr. Oak and Mr. Quill. I think it all tied together really nicely, and I think the atmosphere, the tension that you get with that, they brought forth the horror aspects pretty well, and especially for something that was fairly cheaply done. Again, it looked okay. It looked, they hid the monster well enough, and it was kind of just a bizarre enough concept that it worked for me overall. Like just I'm gonna go ahead and say the atmosphere. Huh?
And you pretty much stole mine.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Wait, what did I steal? Because I kind of encompassed the whole
Yes,
range of
you
stuff.
basically liked everything.
I liked everything. I liked
Thank you
All
for
right.
stealing everything, Aaron. So you just liked
Yes,
it. The end.
The rest of us will now pass because
spells,
there's nothing
Yes.
left.
Yeah.
the characters.
Anyway, to try to be more specific, Tim, how about you?
I liked how I think this story utilized the time it was allotted very well. In that it wasn't rushed in places, and we got a little bit more resolution at the end of it than normally.
All right.
Normally, like we sort of got to see the aftermath of the monsters and like what happens, instead of just another and now we must be off.
All right.
So yeah, that's what I
Matt.
liked.
Gosh, which one of the thing to go with? I like that for some of the shots that we did get, we got to actually see like a lot of the sets, and these sets compared to normal looked really big. And it looked like they gave them a lot of space, which they actually did need because they were trying to do these crazy monsters and all this foam stuff everywhere. So they obviously put a lot of time and effort into making enough space. Sadly, most of it's still missing, but you can tell even in the stills.
I know at least a chunk of this episode was filmed in the BBC's main studio.
So they actually did get a bigger spot for a change.
Yes. Some of it was filmed location on a abandoned oil derrick in the North Sea.
And they also shot nearby that on the shoreline. So they actually did, for the actual set pieces, they actually did get an actual decent sized set again. Okay, cool. Yeah, some of those sets it does show.
Yeah, I watched a little bit of some of the behind the scenes stuff.
I never got to watch that.
Unfortunately, I didn't watch all of it because one of the behind the scenes thing was actually longer than the actual 6-part serial.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, it's like I started watching this. I got done at 4:30. At 7, I turned it off and restarted it because it was taking too long. Yeah. But yes, okay. So yes, they're set use.
Very good.
As for me, I would have to say the acting, particularly on the part of the two technicians, from what we can see, the expressions on their face and everything just manages to come off with this very creepy, like.
Yeah.
We're super friendly and totally not trying to do anything wrong.
Yeah, Mr. Oak and Mr. Quill.
By the way, here's a little side note. The way that they got that thing where they opened their mouth to spew gas, the way they got to do that before that is they had the actors chew on coal briquettes prior to filming to get their mouth properly blackened. And you wonder why some of these actors die of cancer? There's your answer.
Was the correlation between chewing coal and cancer just known then?
No, it wasn't, but that's why it's now. I mean, now we know of it now, so it's just like, we've wondered why some of these actors they're dropping like flies from cancer. Because back in the 60s, they would make them do shit like chew on cold briquettes.
Yeah, that's already got to be one level of, oh god, nowadays because of the whole cancer relation, but now also it's got to be partially, oh wow, you managed to also chew on those things? Ugh.
Well, it was just to blacken their mouths.
Still, it
So
had
that
to
they got the
taste
look.
awfully nasty.
I mean, as for me, I would have just eaten an entire package of Oreo cookies.
Yeah.
That wouldn't be dark enough, though. It wouldn't really stick.
Mm.
You would have been better off of trying to make a makeshift black food coloring and trying to paint the inside of their mouths with it.
Anyway.
Or make a drink out of it. Yeah.
So now we move on to what we didn't like. And I suspect Erin's going to pass because she liked everything.
Everything! Actually, overall,
Yeah, in general. Like I said, I have one thing that's very specific that I don't think would affect other people, but affected me. So.
All right. So I think I'm going to go ahead and say that it is kind of weird that they didn't kill anybody. This is one of the few serials where, I mean, we don't see. I think we do actually see Mr. Oak and Mr. Quill towards the end, like as just regular technicians. But, like,
we don't see them, but it is mentioned that one of them that got caught up earlier is actually recovering.
Yeah, and it's noted on the TARDIS wiki that this is one of those few serials where we don't have any character deaths.
Where everyone lives.
Everybody lives.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not quite sure if it actually works. Just because, of the transformations we've seen in these people. They've got seaweed growing out of them and everything. We see Maggie disappear underneath the waves as she swims away, and it's not, necessarily you don't have to be an undead person to swim away from something like that into the ocean, but it's kind of implied that there's kind of a mysticism almost going on, but I don't know. It doesn't quite work out for me. I mean, if you're trying to see it from a scientific point of view, the changes that these people's bodies have undergone, spewing toxic gas like that, they should pretty much be dead.
Yeah.
In my opinion. So we've seen similar things happen in other serials where drastic changes like this do in fact mean that they are just corpses that are inhabited by the creatures.
Yeah, just in this case, everybody lived.
Yeah.
All right. So Tim, you're next.
Oh God, Robson. Oh.
Tim's favorite type of character, I should say. I say
yes.
The asshole that never listens.
Yeah.
The asshole that never listens, and he talks back, and this is the worst character I have ever seen. I was literally on the verge of crying. His scenes were so painful to watch.
Yeah, and the entire thing was basically just a giant ego trip for him. He was being this jackass bastard because he didn't want a blight on his record.
Yes. And the worst is, like, he even goes out of way to saying, yes, you have an expert opinion. I'm listening to it, but I'm not going to follow it because I'm a... Die!
Yeah, and that's the thing. What's worse is at the end of the episode, he's still being a jackass bastard. He doesn't learn anything.
Yes.
Once a prick, always a prick.
And I was actually torn torn whether or not what character is worse, him or the engineer who said, I'm gonna follow Mr. Robson, because he's my boss and he's never let me down. It's like, dude, the man is clearly acting incompetently.
Yeah, that was kind of a what the fuck for me too.
Yeah, he's just following along because he was also with Robson during some of his earlier stuff, apparently. It's like, yeah, that was then, though. Even you have to acknowledge he started acting really weird.
I was kind of hoping we would discover the fact that he was under the influence of it all and would come out and actually not be a total prick. A bit of a prick, yes, but not the total prick. But nope. Everything's back to normal and he's being a total prick.
Yeah. And even like the stuff they won't allow people to do, is like, what will it cost him in the end? Like, it's like, I think we should go down to the bottom and check for ourselves. No!
Well, no, because that would have meant shutting off the gas. And he didn't want that fucking stain on his record, the freaking douche nozzle. The thing is, that kind of person will get a oil rig or a gas rig, whatever, blown up. Because they're not, at that point, they're bypassing safety recommendations just to make sure that there's not a blemish on their record. Except, blowing up a fucking rig will be a massive blemish on their record. Oh, God, I hated him to death.
Yeah.
All right, Matt, how about you?
Thing I didn't like the most. I want to go with I think the fact that people were still like so mistrusting of the Doctor even after the halfway point. A lot of people were still doing the whole, well, he's the only one that seems to be able to keep up with it. What if he's actually on their side then? Well, if we don't have any other choice. Well, there's also the fact that he's actually telling you what he knows as he's figuring it out. Wouldn't that already be the factor of he's actually telling us shit? If he was actually on their side, why would he tell us anything?
Well, mind you, most of these complaints were being said by Captain Douche Nozzle.
Well, they were still bringing it up by Harris and what's-her-face, the CEO type that comes later.
Mm.
That was literally a dialogue between the two of them when the Doctor wasn't in the room one time. It's like, oh, come on. This is literally padding. This is literally a foam peanut because you just want to throw us a foam peanut because you need a little more time. Move along, please. Get on with it.
Turn it around.
Well, mind you, that kind of issue is always kind of indicative of a Based Under Siege episode. And this was almost a by-the-books Based Under Siege.
Just about.
I mean, I think I heard that the guy that wrote this also was involved in the moon base.
He was an actor on the moon base.
Which pretty much originated the Based Under Siege trope, by the way.
Kinda. Actually, he wrote a similar story to this, but for Doctor Who, but it got turned down. But then BBC Radio picked it up and did drama.
Mm-hmm.
And so this was him essentially rewriting it, and then someone else tweaked it to what it finally was.
And then he once again wrote a nearly identical story of this for Tom Baker to do an audio a record on. Yeah, it was Tom Baker and Sarah Jane, and it was again creatures from the water, and they were stopped by noise. Yeah, there was a lot of similarities.
Are we sure he didn't write the Sea Devils too?
Yes, but I wouldn't have been surprised if it turned out he had.
Under like a different name.
All right. So what I didn't like about this episode, and this is a personal nitpick, as I keep saying, is I did not like the heartbeat sound effect.
Oh.
And the reason I didn't like it is my brain failed to register it as a heartbeat sound effect. Do you know what it sounded like to me?
Hmm.
Well, a couple years ago when we had to go to GeekCon meetings, we would get in this room, and in the room next to us, there was this Christian rock band playing.
Oh,
And they had, whatever they were playing, had this regular beat that was that exact same beat. So I'm sitting here listening to it. All I could hear the second I heard it was that goddamn band. So I'm sitting here, doing what I normally do and listening to Doctor Who, and that would come up, and I'm just sitting there going, and it was immediately gone. Just
yeah, I will agree it's a little mechanical, but that's about the worst of it.
But
you have a particular twitch to it, though.
yeah, it causes a particular twitch reaction. But that does affect me because of that one issue. So yeah, that's what I liked least about it. All right, favorite scenes. And Aaron, yes, what is your favorite scene? What did you like the mostest? And we have dead air.
Dead air, dead ski.
Dead diddly air.
Shut up, Flanders.
I'm gonna go ahead and say the scene where Mr. Oak and Mr. Quill come for Maggie. And you just see what their mouths just gaping and their eyes bulging because they seem kind of off to begin with, and then just that scene where you realize that there's really something wrong here. There's something inhuman going on. Especially the effect of them just like expelling gas like that. It's not normal, man. It's not normal.
Yeah,
So-
and the one actor, the lanky one,
Mhm.
really pulls it off as you just watch his eyes pop out as his
Mhm.
mouth
And his
opens.
jaw just slacks open. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just absolutely. You're just, oh my god, yeah. If
What-
anyone he got the MVP for acting in this, it should have been him.
Mhm. Yep.
Took what seemed like off and almost comical characters and made them the most serious, bloody threat in the episode.
Yeah, that actually just like totally sold it. All right. So, Tim, how about you? Your favorite scene?
Favorite scene is the helicopter scene with the Dr. Jamie and Victoria flying around like maniacs, zooming and zipping. Even with the telesnaps, I think the sound effects and their vocal performances really conveyed the scene nicely.
Yeah, I love it, the fact that the Doctor basically pulls a Jeremy Clarkson kind of how hard can it be with it, and then totally winds up nearly getting them killed.
Several times, and also comments on the fact that he did a loop-de-loop and wasn't sure how they do that in a helicopter.
I did that in a boat once, but that was, yeah, a long time ago.
By the way, the lanky one is called Mr. Quill.
That
Yeah,
is
I
Quill.
can never, I can never remember which is which
Mm-hmm.
because they're usually referred
But it's
to
always
as
Quill and Oak, yeah.
Are helicopters even capable of doing loop-de-loops?
Yes, of course. You
You have to do it very fast.
you have to do it very carefully. Oddly
Mhm.
enough.
That too.
By the way, the scenes, the wide shot scenes of the helicopter, that was not the Doctor behind the steering thing. Apparently, he refused to go up in the helicopter. So that was not Patrick Troughton. That was the pilot they got dressed up like Patrick Troughton.
And in
then
long enough
he did-
shots, you'd be hard
Yep.
pressed to notice the difference. So
and then all the close-up shots were done from the ground. Just as an FYI, apparently he has a thing about helicopters. All right. So that was Tim's. I guess Matt's.
All right. I'm trying to think favorite scene, and actually, by the way, on the short list, the one Aaron picked was definitely one of them.
Oh yeah, I'm pretty sure that was anyone because it's also one of the few surviving clips. Thankfully.
Thankfully. By the way, thank you, Australia, for giving us the best clips of the episode back for the most part.
Mm-hmm.
Your editors are horribly stupid people, but thank goodness they saved those clips.
Yes.
So, to which I would also mention another thing that was technically left over either from editing or from Australia was the seaweed monster attack on Central Command, and that was also an amazing little thing because that's where you get some of the best shots of the set. You get to see all the actors, and you get to see the costume and all the foam and actual decent frame rate and stuff. Just really interesting, really cool looking stuff. Just wish it was all together.
Australian censorship.
Colin B with you people on this one.
You look at it. There's nothing in there that was even remotely offensive.
Not really offensive. But they for some reason decided to cut a lot of stuff. But at the same time, hey, you saved some decent shots from Doctor Who. Fine with me, I guess.
I'm sorry. This is a bit too creepy for kids, so we can't have it.
Yeah, you cut out the meat and potatoes of the story.
What's the point of watching then? Yeah.
Yeah. We can't have them being violent. Oh no. Heck of the children.
God, my brain is just thinking, what does Australia think about Happy Tree Friends?
They will never air. They find out that your IPN is addressing Happy Tree Friends. They immediately shut down your internet for 5 minutes.
Oh God! I'm just imagining what the Australia censorship board would do with something like that. That looks so cute and innocent, and then turns into, oh my God, what the hell? I remember.
Oh, actually, you want to know what they would do? They would do the same thing that they did to that one dog that was introduced to Itchy and Scratchy in The Simpsons. I must go. My people need me. Immediately gets edited, dragged off screen, and supposedly dies in space and never gets seen again. Bye-bye.
But yeah, so... Okay, those scenes were good. My favorite scene, introducing the sonic screwdriver.
That's true. That was a thing too.
So this was the first appearance?
Yep.
Yes. This was the very first appearance of the sonic screwdriver.
Patrick Troughton would use it a couple more times, and then the doctors after him would use it a lot more.
Oddly enough, this sonic screwdriver was a lot closer to the sonic screwdrivers used in the new series, as it was essentially just a pen light.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's a thing. So now we move on to scenes we disliked. And Aaron, you're up first. Any scene that particularly didn't do anything for you?
I was actually quite bored with the helicopter scene, like the one where he's kind of trying to figure out how to fly a helicopter. I think it would have been a lot better if it were available in video, in full video. It's just I was kind of bored watching it, and it was funny at first, and then it just kind of wore thin really quickly. It just dragged on, in my opinion. So
okay. Well, apparently, one man's treasure is another man's garbage.
Yeah.
All right, Tim, how about you?
Any scene with Robson in it.
Any scene with Robson in it. Just hated him that much, huh?
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm just trying to mentally imagine Tim watching this episode going, all of my hate! It's like a physical impossibility for Tim to have that much hate. Me? Oh yes. Anybody that's been watching our podcast for a while knows that I can spew forth plenty of hate and venom.
Yes. Vitriol.
But yeah,
but
not
for
Tim.
something to give Tim a nervous
Not
tick.
Tim, our eternal optimist. Wow.
Yeah, Classic, who you apparently hit a keynote there that just drove Tim up the wall.
Yeah, otherwise, it'd be
Yep.
like the sun is always shining on planet Tim. But
Yes,
now
the
we
sun
see
is
the cloud.
shining and setting everything on fire and burning it into a higher fiery inferno.
Burn, baby, burn.
Wow. Wow. Okay. All right, Matt, how about you? What was your least favorite scene?
Least favorite scene. Actually, that's the scene. Why did the Doctor and Jamie have to climb up the ladder? Like, did literally everybody leave? And why?
Which letter?
When they were down in the bottom of the drill or whatever, but then they found the seaweed down there and figured out where that one guy must have gone to, and had to try and come back up, but the two engineers who were obviously villains weren't at the controls to bring him back up. But it was like a room full of other engineers, though. Why did like literally everybody but those two and Victoria leave? And did they actually like abduct her and take her somewhere and knock her out, or what happened? They don't even explain it very well. Apparently, Victoria just blacked out.
I'm wondering if there was more visual cues as to what was going on that were not telesnapped.
Mm-hmm.
If there were, then they I think audibly they completely cut out a scene because they just never really explain it, even in the either audio or in the individual clips. Just suddenly everyone's gone.
All right. So my least favorite scene: foam fight. Doctor, look at this foam. Isn't it unusual that there's so much foam here? Yeah,
well.
You don't usually see like this here. Yeah, what if that had been toxic killer foam? You just killed Jamie, Doctor. Congratulations.
Yes. Oh my God, they killed Jamie.
Way to go, Doc. You just killer clowned him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was a little like, seriously? You find something strange and unusual foam on the beach and you're just gonna rub it in one of their face. Great. Okay, so I believe that ends our likes and dislikes. So now we move on to our final thoughts. And Aaron, you're up first.
Just our overall feelings
Final
on it.
thoughts. Yeah.
Yeah, our final summary on it. Yeah.
Final summary. Like I said, I really enjoyed this one, even though, it's, well, even the seaweed monster didn't really seem all that cheap with how they were able to control the tentacles and stuff like that. I've certainly seen much worse seaweed monsters.
Well, mind you, the last episode we saw was the guy that had been doing props for Doctor Who for a while, and apparently he was sacked after that episode.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, the last episode that we watched before Fury from the Deep. What was it again? Faceless Ones? Yeah, Faceless Ones.
Yeah.
Oh.
Apparently they'd gotten increasingly unhappy with his work in special effects and other stuff because it was just coming out as being looking cheap and doing all this. So they basically said,
yeah, they had
nope.
such a huge issue with the spaceships that they just went, okay, enough's enough.
Yep.
Okay, so this one was an all new special effects.
Well, this
person?
guy's maybe been doing it now for like a month or two.
For actually closer to a season.
Oh,
Oh,
been a
yeah.
season. Okay.
Yeah, if you look where the Faceless Ones is, episode wise, and you look where this one is, the Faceless Ones, was the end of season 4 of Doctor Who. You had the Faceless Ones and Evil of the Daleks. Where we are now is the second to last episode in season 5. So they's actually had about a year to work on it, or at least an entire season. He's had Evil of the Daleks, Tomb of the Cybermen, the Abominable Snowmen, the Ice Warriors, Enemy of the World, Web of Fear, many of which are some of the greatest Second Doctor stories.
Yeah. And some of them that needed some really big freaking costumes.
Yeah. So the guy that did this is the same guy that did the Yeti
And the Ice Warriors.
and the Ice Warriors and their Ice Warrior ship.
Mm-hmm. And
So-
possibly
And the
helped
Ice Warriors.
cobble together stuff for Daleks.
And the Ice Warriors foam.
And the Ice Warriors foam in a couple seasons, yeah.
Remember?
Oh.
Yeah.
In about another season or so.
Yeah, apparently this guy really likes foam because wouldn't we see more foam?
Yeah, the
In
Ice
Seeds
Warriors
of
next
Death?
season or two would have some foam
Seeds of
stuff again
Death,
with
yeah.
Second Doctor.
And Seeds of Death had all the foam.
Yep.
Yeah, it's what it can't be too expensive to produce, and it was somewhat new technology at the time as foam machines.
Yeah,
like
apparently the foam, the stuff they used to produce the foam, at least for this one, was stuff they apparently got from the fire department,
that.
Mm,
and they could get it on loan.
yeah.
Oh, wow. So then
So
that was another cost-cutting measure. So
Yeah, they
Mhm.
used fire suppressant foam. And that means they had more money to spend on bigger budget other effects.
like more sets,
Like
the
bigger sets,
were
bigger
actually
monsters,
really-
yeah.
Or more foam.
Or even
Yeah,
more
or more
foam.
foam. Like
But-
just the location, being out on the beach and everything. It's not too many scenes that you see them out on the beaches, but at the same time, just that little bit of information really kind of helps immerse the audience in what's going on. Yeah, I really this
And you spend a scene or two out there, and you're saving money for almost every scene of it.
It feels really well balanced. Like everything just kind of came together in this for me. So,
All right.
Mhm.
Is that everything?
yep, that's everything.
All right. So, Tim.
Okay, so aside from the telesnaps and that guy, I thought this episode was very creative in its use of the monster and some of the ideas it brought forth. Especially that thing is that matter cannot defeat mind; it's against the laws of nature. And that made me stop and think, like, is that a thing?
Yeah,
Thing?
actually.
Kinda.
Thing?
Depends.
And if it is a thing, is it a thing that the doctor would say? See?
Yes.
Well, the doctor said so.
Even if it wasn't the thing, it would be something the doctor would say.
Just to, like, throw an enemy for a loop,
Mm.
yeah.
Nah, it would coincide with his personal beliefs on the issue.
I did start to think that they were telegraphing Victoria leaving a bit too hard.
I actually didn't think so, but yeah, go ahead.
Because, like, half her dialogue is like, everywhere we go, there's nothing but death and despair and doom and oh, boo-hoo.
I kind of would have liked to see Jamie stay with her. Kind of.
Yeah, well, the
Yeah.
It
problem.
makes me wonder.
Yeah, but Fraser Hines wanted to stay.
Yeah.
I mean, Fraser Hines, he loved Doctor Who. He was
Mhm.
great, and he loved working with Patrick Troughton. So, I mean, the two of them were, inseparable. I believe even off the set for a while, they were the best of friends. So,
Mm-hmm. And
But
that's
this
why
was,
he's able to impersonate him so well. Anyway, Tim?
I think this was a decent episode with some very, very major flaws.
all right. Matt, how about you?
Are they flaws, Tim? Or are they there to make you really annoyed at a guy that you shouldn't like?
Was really Matt? Was that a are they flaws or are they features?
Just about.
I mean, seriously.
I mean, the
you're
guy.
going-
Don't
you're-
get me wrong. That guy in particular character is infuriating as all hell. But you kind of feel like you got your comeuppance when he starts getting attacked by sea monsters.
There's a method to like making presenting a character as infuriating without actually infuriating people.
True. And I will agree that he's an extremely infuriating character, but I still found it amusing that an asshole like him gets attacked by seaweed monsters. So deserves it. But anyways, besides that, I thought the majority of the plot ran together pretty smoothly. Other than a little bit of padding here and there, which is to be expected for something as old as this, it ran as smooth as it could and didn't waste too much time on it, at least. The sets, as we've seen before, they finally got some good, decent-sized sets. They managed to throw together some monster costumes that were used sparingly and actually really worked well with what they did to them. We had some actors who did some outstanding performances that are still even remembered. I'm looking at you, big image of gaping mouth guy. And our main cast did their jobs pretty well, even if at times it was a little forced here or there. Majority of this I just really genuinely like. They did a really good job with this one, even with the stills. And thankfully, some of the cooler moments in this particular story were saved either through silly editing by the Australians or leftover footage from the BBC.
All right. Is that all you have to say about that?
That's about it.
All right. So, on paper, this is a mediocre episode. It's almost Base Under Siege, formula by the numbers. It's honest to God, paint by numbers, Base Under Siege script. However, the acting, direction, and budget that went into this, or at very least the effects budget, really helped make it rise above the average Base Under Siege episode. You have the guys who are so damn creepy that you can't help but go, oh my God, even when you know, oh my God, they're the bad guys already. Just what they do just makes you go, boo. However, it does suffer from the telesnaps. There are scenes where there's virtually nothing being said, no real sound effects, and you're looking at a telesnap of somebody's face. And that's always going to hurt an episode.
Yeah, a little bit.
So my thought is what it gains from that, it loses from the telesnaps. Thus said, it's still an okay episode to watch. I think we're really going to be all around the board on this one tonight.
Possibly.
For the first time in a while.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. So, Fury from the Deep. Aaron gets to go first.
I'm going to go ahead and give this... I'm going to go ahead and give this a 4.5.
Oof.
Yeah.
I can't give a telesnap episode that high. I honest to God cannot.
I can. I felt that there was enough to it that I enjoyed it, so I'm giving it that score.
Tim?
That's what I did last week.
Yeah, I know, and I said the same thing to you last week.
Tim.
Mm-hmm.
And your score, Tim?
I'm not going to give this a 4.5.
I figured that.
To it gets deducted half a point for the telesnaps. And then for Robson, I have to deduct even more, which brings it to 2.5.
Ooh.
Wow.
Ooh.
Wow. We are all over the place.
Wow.
Matt.
Robson really burned this one for Tim.
Yep.
I agree. I can't give it as high as Aaron because telesnaps does affect it enough that it does bring it down almost a full number score for me. That being said, if they ever animate this, we will rejudge this. But currently, as it stands, I have to say this is my favorite telesnap so far, so it's a 4.
Mm-hmm.
4. And there are no consistent scoring throughout this.
Nope. Nope, that got
Because-
thrown out the window.
Mediocre script, good acting, bad telesnaps. I have to put this at 3.5.
Which means
Which-
that Randy will be a 4.5 if it gets improved.
Correct. I have to deduct a little for the mediocre script. Yeah. So, yes, this comes out to an average of 3.6, which means I'm the closest.
Hey, you win the prize.
Go get a cookie.
Really? From where? What kind of cookie?
It's sugar cookie.
I prefer chocolate chip.
How about chocolate chunk?
Ooh, that works too.
Bring in the chocolate chunk.
Okay, so at 3.6, Fury from the Deep comes in at 145 out of 247.
Ooh.
So not in the bottom 100, but close.
Not in the bottom half, just barely skimming the surface.
Is it in the bottom half or not? 247.
Actually, no, it would be just. Actually, no, I take that back. That's right. It'd be half. It's just under the surface.
It's just under the surface,
It's
yes.
playing Jaws with us.
Mhm. It is on par with Sarah Jane Adventures The Gift, Resurrection of the Daleks, Full Circle, Tomb of the Cybermen,
Ooh.
Women Who Lived, and Dust Breeding, The Doctor, the Widow, The Wardrobe, and Class Detained. It is better than A Town Called Mercy, Mark of the Rani, The Blovial Devil, Twice Upon a Time, Christmas Invasion. And it is worse than Destroyer of the Lights, The Evil One, The Innocent Master, Flatline, The Daleks, The Moon Base, The Power of the Daleks. So there we go. 100 and... Where'd it go?
47?
No, it wasn't 47.
I thought it was 140 something.
Should have been. What happened? Hang on.
Oh.
Oh, no, 145.
45.
Yes, of 247.
247. Okay.
Yeah, you got your numbers backwards. Anyway, 145 for 247. That's it for Fury from the Deep. That's all we have to say about that.
Alrighty. Which then goes to me. So, everyone listening, thank you all very much for watching. If you've been enjoying this on either Twitch or on YouTube, you can always subscribe, follow us along. Don't also forget to subscribe if you're on YouTube and comment down below, as all these do help out the channel. You can find our YouTube channel at Unearthly Podcast. You can follow our Twitch account at Unearthly Podcast. You can follow us on the Twitter account at Unearthly Pod. You can also join us on Facebook at Unearthly Podcast. And if you really enjoy the show and want to help throw $1 or $2 at us, you can also join us at Patreon at Unearthly Podcast.
All right, so next week, we are out of the telesnaps and into glorious color.
Yay.
We move past Zoe and Jamie's departure, as we've done it, and ignore Liz's arrival for the same reason. It's a pseudo departure, the last we see of Liz Shaw before she leaves between seasons. It's Inferno, written by Don Houghton and starring John Pertwee as the Doctor, Carolyn John as Liz Shaw, and Nicholas Courtney in a rare double role.
Yay.
So we'll see that next week.
Alrighty. See you all next time.
Bye-bye.
Until next time. Bye bye.